whenever you guys can pull it together, we're gonna start.
Okay. I'm better by myself. I don't really like to share the screen.
That's no kidding. Are you laughing?
Because this is awkward at the moment, staring at you like this.
Does somebody need to ask us questions so we can start? Or do we just need to like roll it? There we were in March of 2009, dead broke, not knowing what to do.
Let's spend the money we don't have and go start a jean company.
It'd be great. Years later, here we are, and the end.
Okay, you can start like that, but like without the like.
Sarcasm
I'm a bad reporter.
from the
commentating.
40s.
Well, back in.
Should we introduce ourselves? Do you want to introduce who you are?
That would be great. How about you introduce yourself?
I'm Amanda.
I'm Matt.
So nice.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Amanda Kimes
I'm Matt Kimes.
of Kimes Ranch,
This is our story.
the American dream.
You go first.
There we were on a sunny day. So back in, gosh, let's see, what was it, March of 2008?
9.
2009? No, it was 8.
No, we got married in December of 2008, and we started a company in March of 2009.
Got married in 2008, and then in March of 2009, neither Matt or myself were happy with the direction of our employment. Matt was working a finance business, which was tanking because the economy was crashing, if everyone remembers the Great Recession. And I was a in the wine distribution business, and I was terrible at it because I drank all of my inventory. It's not entirely true, but it was also going nowhere due to the economy. So we decided to build a brand together, and that was always something we wanted, was to build a brand, something that became bigger than Matt and myself. And we both had this great idea to start a jean company because
Should have done t-shirts and hats.
we should have done t-shirts and hats.
So we went with the hardest garment there is to make because we didn't know what we were doing.
But lo and behold, the universe was telling us what we should do, because that very night on the Discovery Channel was an episode of How It's Made. And what we're on it that night?
Jeans.
Jeans.
So we learned that night how to make jeans.
From How It's Made.
We also Googled how to make jeans. That
Very
helped as well.
insightful.
So neither of us have a design background or any kind of background in textiles at all, but we had the dream of building a jean company. We knew jeans from wearing them and different aspects, you know, everything from fashion on an everyday to riding. And we felt the easiest way to get into the market would be go to a specific niche, which would be riding. And so we created a
Jean for those that ride, for people that rode. We grew up showing quarter horses, and that's our background. So we were like, well, you know, we'll just make jeans and take them to our core market, people that we've known forever. And why wouldn't they want to buy them when everybody knows who we are? So that's what we did. We quit our jobs basically within a few days of this How It's Made episode. And we went to Los Angeles and went to Garment District. And
which was a ghost town at the time.
It was a ghost town. We bought denim and rolls of paper to make patterns and things to sew jeans. Now, we said we don't have a design background or anything, nor do we know how to sew. However, I was going to sew the first pair of jeans.
We didn't have a contractor, so we didn't have any contacts over there. And even to this day, it's hard to get on and find some sort of list of contractors. It's very cat and mouse over there, so we didn't have a way of finding out who to use. So again, Amanda was going to sew for us. So we brought all this home with this great idea that we're going to take a sewing machine and make a pair of jeans and go from there.
As you can imagine, that did not work at all, not even a little bit.
So the next best thing is to hire somebody off of Craigslist. Yeah, 6 weeks and a bunch of money later, we had the world's worst pair of jeans.
We tried them on in the Starbucks.
In downtown Scottsdale.
And
they ripped in the crotch, and we were not deterred. We thought they were fantastic.
But everyone saw your underwear.
We still have them hanging in the office as a reminder of how far we've come. At that low point, which now I think we're about 6 weeks into this process, I did some research online until I finally found that elusive list. And there were like 50 different names of different contractors, and the 30th person answered the phone, and he remains our cutter to this day, and he put us onto our sewing facility. And those two, we went over and met with them the following week, and they've been with us ever since.
And as well as our pattern maker.
Yeah, Leslie, love Leslie.
So
She looked at what we did and was like, I can do better. And she came back within 3 hours and $150, and we had 2 patterns that were what we currently use today, the Betty and
the Barney.
the Barney. And we were off and running. We made our first 300 pair of jeans, and we were going to a horse show, and we were going to sell them all and turn around and do it again and again and make millions of dollars. And we went to the first horse show. We showed up, and nobody cared.
No.
Not one person. Where our friends took some and were like, oh, very good, thank you. But at the time, we were making a product that was completely different than what was out there. It was higher rise, it was slimmer fit, it was darker denim, and everything at the time was super low rise on the women's side, over processed on the men's, crazy big baggy, and it was a total, like where we wanted people to be, and we took a huge leap over here, and they just wanted to be over here. So they looked at our product and they were very kind, but they didn't want anything to do with it. So that was our one of our first obstacles.
So since nobody wanted to buy our jeans, we were like, okay, well, we can't sell them at horse shows, but I'm sure we can sell them at truck stops,
Swap
on
meet.
the side of the road.
Swap meet. We tried to go to swap
Swap meet.
meet and sell them for $10 over what we made them for, so we could take that money and go make adjustments and do it again. And
We had a handmade sign out of cardboard that said, come try jeans on in a motorhome, and we would park it on the side of the road.
as our friends drove by and called us, like,
What the heck are you doing?
what are you doing?
Why are you torturing yourselves? I don't understand why no one wanted to come into a creepy motorhome and try things
Yeah,
on.
come on into our motorhome, try on our jeans. Totally reasonable.
It's legitimate.
Nobody stopped.
Like nobody even like
We sat there all day,
honked the horn. They
drank,
didn't.
drank some beers, and nobody stopped. And then we finally decided that probably the best way of doing it was to get away from where we are. Everybody that knows us, people want to be supportive, but at the end of the day, they don't know you for doing that. So you kind of like need to go away and find a newer market within the same niche that they're willing to try something different. So we got on the road and got out of Arizona, and we're going from rodeo to horse show to different event, selling them one at a time. And every sale was like this. It was like a huge deal. I don't mean like selling thousands of jeans. I mean like literally a pair of jeans or a T-shirt was a big deal for us.
Well, it meant we could go to dinner.
Yeah. And then one of the events that we did was the NFR. And our goal was to do like 30 pair in a day. And if we could hit that number, we would be making it. And we would do like 15 and 12. And then one day we hit 30, and we went out and celebrated that night. 30 pair. That was a huge deal for us.
We also had 2 kids. We started the company in March. I found out I was pregnant in May, and our first son was born a year later in March. And then my daughter was born a year later in September. So we were going down the road from event to event to event, just the 2 of us and the kids. So we had 2 under 2 until they were 18 months and 2, and then they're running all over the place. And a low point that I can remember was we had been on the road so long, and we were just kind of ending up this last leg that we had been doing, and we had still more hours to drive that night, but we pulled over into a restaurant that was inside of a hotel parking lot, like an Applebee's or something. And we pulled over and went to go get some dinner, and my son pointed to the hotel and started crying how badly he wanted to go home. I just want to go home, and home to him was a hotel. And I looked at Matt and I said,
It's time for us to go home.
for us to go home. So we packed up and went home and regrouped. And
Through this process, there's a lot of capital to be had to make denim. It's not like T-shirts or hats where you can just go grab a blank, put your logo on it, and go sell your logo. You have to create the product from scratch, and you have to buy the denim, choose it, own the denim, make the product in certain sizes, especially the market we're in. You couldn't just put it out in size 34 length and call it good. You had to have 32 through 38, every different size. So there's a lot that goes into it. So the capital would always run thin. And we sold horse trailers. We sold our trucks. We sold
saddles,
tack. I sold an old Lincoln Continental that I had. Anything I could keep to kind of replenish the company and keep it going. Everything was a win. And doing that, it kind of just kept us moving further down the road. We also, when in the low points when we were out of season and not being able to go and sell, we would broker equipment to Alaska because her father worked in Alaska on the slope, and he would call up and say, I need this tractor, I need that rock hammer, I need whatever, and we would find these pieces of equipment and send it. So while we're working our company, we're also trying to do something on the side to kind of put more money back into the company.
It's a very humbling experience to ask your family and neighbors to invest in a brand that they don't yet believe in.
We did have a couple friends that did, and we would borrow a certain amount of money from them and pay them back in a few months with interest. And we'd do that 2 or 3 times, but it took a special 2 or 3 that would actually do that. But everybody got paid back on time with interest, and they made money off of our progress, which we're kind of proud of that. That it was okay for us to borrow, but we had a note written out and how much interest they were going to get, and on a schedule, and we made those payments, whether it never got undone. So then fast forward to, I'd say 2014 is where things really started going for us. So from 2009, 10, 11, 12, we kind of got the groundwork laid. We had some partners come in. That really didn't work out very well. That was kind of, it took us out of business for about a year. But at the end of that year that we weren't in business selling the product, the people that had the product were missing it. And so when we relaunched in 2014 with a new name, we still had the same logo, same product, everything. We just changed our name to Kimes Ranch. People were waiting for us. And then from 14 until now, it's just been growth over growth over growth. That was the point where we were finally in a position to be able to hire people. We hired a marketing director. We hired a friend to be a sales. We hired warehouse help, and everything just has kind of gone from there. And the direction has gone. We've always had this vision of being not just a Western brand, but like a lifestyle brand that's Western based, and we're reaching those audiences now, 6 years on.
It's fun now. It's fun when people like your product.
Yeah, and they say they see it everywhere. And in the beginning, when we would sell those 1 or 2 pair of jeans, we kind of know everybody that owned it. So if you saw somebody wear it, you go, oh, that's Bill. He bought those a few months ago. But now people come to us all the time and say, I see your stuff everywhere. And it's just everyday average people that enjoy what we're trying to do, the culture we've created, the product that we're putting out there, and they're proud to wear our brand, which makes us proud because it gives us a good feeling that we've actually done something people like. So.
Good job.
Is that it?
Done. Oh, good job on what you've done. Your accomplishments.
You too. You as well. Amanda's usually the face, but they make me do this every once in a while.
What else would you like us to bring up?
Tell us how you named the original jeans.
Where did the logo come from?
So before we were married, couples buy dogs together and do that kind of thing. We bought 2 Longhorns.
We were going to be cattle baron.
Yeah, cattle baron.
So we bought a
you buy heifer,
heifer,
and what else that you need when you want to be a cattle baron? A steer.
That's right.
Because everybody needs a herd steer to do nothing.
So we bought yard ornaments.
Yeah. So our herd steer is Barney.
Barney.
And
he still lives today.
Our heifer was Betty. So we had the 2 of them. So when we obviously never got further than the 2 of them, and it was about a year later that we started this company, and I had created a brand that was similar to what we have now, but it was more angular for an actual.
We were going to brand this giant herd of cattle.
Yes, that we were going to run on our
many acres.
Many acres, and I had it written. I had sketched it out in a book, and I never did anything with it. Didn't create a brand of it. Well, then she came to me and she said, "We need a logo. I really like your logo." So I took it and then taught myself Adobe Illustrator and kind of smoothed it out and made it what it is today. And then when we were trying to come up with a name, we just liked the logo. We didn't really like the name of anything. We couldn't think of a name for the company. We just wanted to have the logo and say company. So it's this company, like almost like Prince, if you will. The symbol was more important to us, like the Nike swoosh was more important to us than the actual name. When we then came out with our first 2 pair, obviously we had Betty and Barney, the cows.
So we had Betty and Barney, the men's and women's jeans.
The men's and women's jeans.
Betty still resides as our best-selling, fastest-selling women's jeans, women's pair of jeans.
And
women's style?
The Barney's been adjusted into a style called the Watson. There was a few changes that need to be made, so it morphed into the Watson. And some people that are originals still want us to bring back the Barney, and maybe we will at some point. But right now, it's not in the current lineup. But Barney is alive. And
barely. He had a big scare.
Yeah, last year he had eye cancer.
Eye
and
cancer.
We removed it, but
We had to take
he's
his
good to
eye
go.
out.
But Betty is Betty. We lost Betty early on.
May she rest in peace.
Yes, she's buried right over there in the pasture. But
She wasn't a nice.
yeah, Barney's way
really
nicer.
sweet and gentle, and she was a horrendous thing.
He's had a better life since Betty
He's better off for it.
kicked
That
it.
sounds terrible.
Does sound bad, but Betty was a dink.
But her genes are outstanding.
Yes. So that's the start of the company's name. And
But we started out as Longhorn Jean Company because what else are you supposed to call a pair of jeans?
that was the
with a
first name we
longhorn
came
on
up with it, and we hated it. And then we moved on to like 50 different
them?
names.
So we
and
became
it's
LJC Apparel,
circled
which,
back
like
to
Donna
Longhorn.
Karen became DKNY. We became LJC Apparel.
Yeah, we got a letter from the University of Texas that said Longhorn Jean Company can't exist.
I don't know that we're
So
supposed
then
to
we
talk
went.
about that.
We went to, well, we can edit it out, but we went to the attorney, and the attorney says you can do it, but it's going to cost you $250,000. So we changed it to LJC. They didn't have a problem with the logo; they had a problem with the name. So we changed it to LJC Apparel,
Then when Betty died, we became Longhorn for a moment, which is a stupid name.
which was a dumb name. And then when we got back in, we always felt it was pretentious to put our own name on it, but our marketing director said you need a color, you need a name, you need to put your name on it. So we called it Kimes Ranch, and we've never looked back. Now I don't think twice about it, but in the beginning I was a little embarrassed by
Our
it.
marketing director that she's right on those things, though.
She was. So she's done one thing right, maybe two.
A couple, but
Making us do this video is probably not one of her better things.
ill-advised.
I suck.
Careful with your nails.
What else do you want us to mention?
I think we've covered the gamut. Maybe a little more about like the family aspect. I like the story about bringing the kids. But
Okay,
like,
I got
do
it.
you have any
I'm
more
going to
on,
lead
like,
you in. I'm going to set you up.
Also,
When you're in business, or when you start a business, there are some like golden cardinal rules of things that you're absolutely not supposed to do. Many of those
go into
things.
business with your wife and hire all your friends.
Go into business with your spouse. Don't do it. Well, hire all of your closest friends. Well, if you look at our group, I'll just explain it to you. So our marketing director, her name is Lindsay, and she's one of our closest friends, and she was one of the first people to really believe in the only person that really believed in what we were doing.
Two, her and our
Our sales manager,
Sales manager.
Garrett. So Garrett, also we've known forever. His mother and my mother grew up showing horses together and were in each other's weddings.
I've known Garrett since he was 2 years old.
So there's that. And then he brought in all of his friends from when he was a car salesman. So we are overrun by
Friends.
used car salesmen. And then our
And friends.
they're sort of friends. I mean, they're like annoying.
Our assistant to the marketing
like
director.
siblings.
Assistant to the marketing director, I've known since she was 5 years old.
Our chief laminating officer.
Yes.
We've known her for our life. Then my father manages our warehouse, and my mother works in accounting, and half of the warehouse are our neighbors. And they all have dogs, and they're all on the ranch all the time, and they all bring their children out here, and we have like 50 children during the. We look like a big compound, like
But
a commune.
The difference is everybody's good at what they do. I mean, our marketing director does have an MBA, and